everyone, welcome back to Wheel Reverend A, your trusted pit stop for all things two wheels and pure adrenaline. Today, we're diving deep into a bike that's equal parts tribute and evolution at the 2025 Harley-Davidson Flathead. If you're a Harley fan or just a lover of old school charm blended with modern muscle, stick around, because this one's going to fire up your love for American iron all over again. Let's set the scene first. The original Flathead engine dates all the way back to the 1920s and 30s. It helped cement Harley-Davidson's reputation for rugged, simple, and endlessly customizable machines. So when rumors started swirling that Harley would revive the Flathead name for 2025, the anticipation was sky high, and now that it's here, it does not disappoint. The 2025 Flathead isn't just about nostalgia, it's Harley's nod to its roots while pulling riders forward into the future. First up, let's talk about what's under the tank. Harley's packed this new Flathead with a modern 131 cubic inch V-twin power plant. That's a whopping 2,147 cc for those who prefer metric. While it carries the Flathead badge, don't expect an old school side valve setup. Instead, Harley's engineers have reimagined that legendary simplicity with a cleaner, torque-heavy engine that puts down about 120 horsepower and an asphalt-tripping 135 pound-feet of torque. Twist the throttle and you feel that signature Harley grunt. Low-end torque is where the spike shines, pulling hard from a standstill and keeping you in that sweet spot whether you're cruising Main Street or powering down the open highway. The engine's been tuned for a flatter torque curve, true to the Flathead name, delivering steady power without surprises, so it's easy to handle but plenty mean when you want it to be. Moving to the ride itself, the 2025 Flathead sits low and long, true to its heritage. The frame is an all-new Softail-inspired design that keeps the classic rigid look but hides a modern monoshock rear suspension under the seat. This means you get that old-school hardtail silhouette without sacrificing your spine every time you hit a pothole. Up front, you get beefy telescopic forks with preload adjustability so you can dial it in for solo rides or two-up cruising. Braking is handled by dual-disc Brembos up front and a single disc in the rear, a major step up in stopping power from the old days. Obviously, ABS is standard, and Harley's added cornering traction control too. So you've got modern safety tech wrapped up in this vintage-looking beast. Now, let's talk about design, because honestly, that's half the magic here. The 2025 Flathead pays tribute with its vintage lines and a wide teardrop tank, hand-painted pinstripes, and an old-school solo saddle that gives off serious sport track racer vibes. The fenders are cut shorter than a traditional touring Harley, leaning more toward the bobber style, raw, stripped down, and ready for personal touches. One standout detail is the exposed pushrod tubes that mimic the look of the original Flathead engines. They don't actually house pushrods, they're purely aesthetic, but it's a clever way Harley nods to its mechanical roots while still delivering modern reliability and performance. Speaking of roots, Harley's brought back tank-mounted gauges, an analog speedometer and a discrete digital info screen underneath, blending vintage looks with a practical modern twist. Riders also get LED lighting all around, a subtle modern touch that doesn't ruin the bike's throwback vibe. And let's not skip over that exhaust, a twin fishtail setup that not only looks classic but sounds downright glorious. It's throaty, deep, and tuned to bring that unmistakable Harley rumble to life, while still meeting modern emissions standards. Harley's also offering the Flathead in a handful of classic colors. Think deep gloss black, vintage army green, and a throwback cream with red pinstriping. And for folks who really want to lean in, Harley's custom shop is ready with old-school Springer seat options, hand-tooled leather saddlebags, and even retro white wall tires. It's a customizer's dream right out of the crate. Now, you're probably wondering what all this nostalgia and new school performance will cost. The 2025 Harley-Davidson Flathead starts at around $22,500, slotting it nicely between the Softail Standard and the bigger, more touring-focused Road King. Considering the custom touches, heritage paint, and the beefy 131 motor, it's actually a pretty solid value for riders who want modern performance wrapped in that old world vibe. So, who's this bike really for? Honestly, It's perfect for the rider who wants to stand out at bike night without the headaches of a vintage build. It's a statement piece, a machine that feels like a time capsule but rides like a 21st century cruiser. It's also an ode to the builders out there who want a blank canvas with soul. The Flathead invites you to strip it, chomp it, and make it your own, just like riders did back in the day. At the end of the day, the 2025 Flathead is more than just another Harley. It's a tribute to the legacy that built the brand, the grit, the garage spirit, the rebel soul. But it's also proof that Harley-Davidson can evolve without forgetting where it came from. If you're after a cruiser that's more than just chrome and paint, one that connects you to nearly a century of American motorcycle history every time you fire it up, then the Flathead might just be calling your name. Alright. That wraps up our deep dive into the 2025 Harley-Davidson Flathead. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to Wheel Reverend for more honest reviews and bike stories, and let me know in the comments, would you ride this modern Flathead, or do you prefer keeping the old ones alive in your garage? Thanks for watching, ride safe, and I'll see you in the next one.